Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope that everyone is doing well. Thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we are of course talking about the OG L word. The title of the episode is Lap Dance. So let's get started. So again, as per usual, start off with least favorite being Jenny, and she begins this new class in this episode. That's an English class taught by Sandra Bernhard, and it's interesting now to see her on the show from all those years ago, because a few years later, after she'd been on the show, I've mentioned this in my surprising facts about the L word. I'll link it in the cards above, but Sandra Bernhard came out and said some pretty unflattering things about the show. I think it was during an interview with Leisha Haley and Kate moaning, saying, "You girls shouldn't have to say these terrible scripts, like she loves them, but they have to say some terrible lines." So a little bit of a dig there at Eileen Chaikin and some of the writers, but as we know, some of the seasons, went off the deep end a bit. So I can't remember exactly when she said this, but if she said it during season 3, I mean, fair enough. Jenny, this whole thing with Robyn finally comes to an end. I don't know why they dragged this out into the next season. The thing with Marina, it really wasn't that interesting, but to drag it not even to the next season but to the second episode, like this should have been over ages ago. And at the very end of the episode, Bette, Shane and Jenny sitting out talking, and Jenny says she's looking for some roommates. So as we know, Shane ends up moving in with Jenny. Start to see that after this episode, now that they've kind of made the plan. Kit ends up buying the planet from Marina's husband, and she gets her investment from Ivan, and Bette also helps her out, and Bette's there whenever Marina's husband comes to meet them and kind of get the check and square everything away with the business. It kind of makes me a little bit sad watching this scene, knowing what happens with Kit now through Generation Q. And also, just because I mentioned Generation Q, I did see that Pam Grier's show that she was on, Bless This Mess, I've never actually watched it, but heard that it was cancelled. So there's quite a few people, obviously fans of hers and the L word, saying, oh, of course it's been cancelled, like she could have come on Generation Q this season. But as we know, Kit's been killed off, so it is kind of sad when you watch these things back and seeing how well she was doing going forward and getting the planet, and she's so excited about it. So just a little sad moment there. Shane ends up seeing Carmen in this episode. It's just a little quick scene, but Shane mostly throughout this episode is just being a great friend. Whenever the group is like out having Chinese, Bette coincidentally shows up to get takeaway and sees them all there. I know obviously Bette did what she did, but situations are always so bad. I think that obviously lesbians go through this a lot more than heterosexual people. Whenever a lesbian couple breaks up, generally most of the friends are kind of intertwined. I know that I've had that happen quite a few times with people I've dated in the past. Normally I've ended up pretty well with like friends on my side or remaining pretty mutual. I remember once one of my exes and I broke up very quickly, and they basically moved on at the same time things were ending with me. And they got engaged very quickly to this person, and I remember normally like we would still socialize with our friends, but my friends mostly were with me. There was one time that a group of my friends went to their engagement party, and I just remember like feeling so terrible. And especially now you see like pictures on social media and stuff. This is like me playing my little tiny violin today. But it's just one of those things that unfortunately a lot of people have to go through. I'm very lucky that the friends that I have been my friends for nearly 25 years, and I have an amazing group of friends, and also practically all of my friends are straight. So we never really end up with things going on like that. I'm going to talk about Dana and Alice kind of together because all their scenes, nearly except one, are together, but they're still, dealing with their roles and their attraction attraction to each other. Shane actually figures it out in this episode, which I think is hilarious. Tanya and Dana actually end up having dinner with Dana's parents, who last time we saw them, they were really not happy with Dana coming out, and it was a huge scene at the mum's award dinner thing. But Dana's parents seem to absolutely love Tanya, so they give their approval for the wedding. One thing this makes me think of is how sometimes if somebody's coming out to, especially their parents, I think this works particularly well with, I find that being able to tell the parents, I'm gay and I'm dating this person, it's someone they've met, they have a relationship with, they know them, they hopefully like them. I mean, when I came out, I was dating someone, so I was able to say, and my parents absolutely loved her. They had a really good relationship, and she also had a really good relationship with my siblings too. I don't really know why it makes it easier, but I just know a lot of people who it seems to go well that way, or people who've come out, their parents haven't reacted well, and then they've met whomever they're dating and it does go well. So I just think that's one of those little things that if I was ever giving someone advice on coming out, I mean, you don't need to have them there or anything, but just to be able to say, this is the person I'm dating, and for them to have met them before kind of helps. Of course, unless they meet them and they don't like them, but generally it doesn't happen. And as per usual, our best for last, Bette and Tina, who are in a very rough place right now, but this episode we do get the absolute icon legend first appearance by Joyce Wischnia. Jane Lynch as this character is just fantastic. She's so funny and just clever and quippy, and the way she delivers her lines, her whole mannerism, everything about her, just think this character is so hilarious and just great. I love her. Obviously not the situation she's in with Bette and Tina at the time, but beginning of the episode where Tina and her are discussing, you know, Bette and Tina breaking up and mortgages and house and money and all these things, it does really make you think for the US, UK, you know, most countries now, thank God we don't have to deal with that bullshit anymore, and that gay marriage is legal and recognized. And there are huge, not just financial implications, but there was major issues whenever people weren't legally recognized as partners. So sometimes watching the show back and seeing just how far we've come in the 16 or so years since the show started, only 11 since it ended, but we've really come a long way. So it's awesome seeing stuff like that. Bette obviously is hoping for a major reconciliation. I love how she has that new art piece behind her desk, the big like sorry thing, and she, you know, is having that conversation with James about apartments for Tina, and James is showing her these and that, and obviously Bette, you know, wants to really take care of Tina, but at the same time she wants her back in. She's like, I don't care if I lose my money, just get her back in there. I do like that Tina, when she's talking to Joyce, does recognize that, like, you know, Bette's very much what's mine is yours, and I definitely relate to Bette in that way. The group of Tina, Shane, Alice, Dana and Tanya do, after they go for Chinese, they do go to this strip club, and Tina ends up getting a lap dance because she's never had one before, hence the title of the episode. And even Shane and Alice say the girl that Tina picked to have the lap dance for, that she looks a little bit like Bette. And I was having a conversation with someone like in one of the L Word Facebook groups just a little while ago about this meme that I posted. Saying the word meme makes me feel 1,000 years old. But I was saying how I would really love in Generation Q if Carrie was super different from Bette. Like, I'd love if they had Carrie played by a butch or younger, floaty dress, like laid back kind of hippie person with crystals and all that thing. Like, I just think it would be so cool to see someone so different from Bette and Tina with someone. Obviously I want Bette and Tina back together, but we're going to be exposed to this Carrie character whether we like it or not. So I just think it'd be really interesting to see someone who's different, because, you know, Tina does seem to have this type. I mean, I think most people do. If you lined up all the people that I've dated will have a similar look. I mean, obviously, like, I'm one of those people who I can't even be attracted to someone unless I know them like a little bit and their personality and things. It's just where I am. I think a lot of gay women are that way. I mean, a lot of my friends make fun of me too, because if I say, oh, she's cute or something, they're like, yeah, she's definitely a type we knew you would think she's cute, because I just love brunettes with like a sprinkle of crazy in them. And as I said before, we do have that scene at the end where Bette and Shane and Jenny are sitting outside Bette's house, you know, just having a beer, and Bette smoking Shane's cigarettes. And that to me is always the scene where you kind of kick off this Bette on the destructive path where she's like smoking and drinking and jumping in pools. And again, I know that all of this is because of what Bette did, but I just really, I do feel a bit sorry for her in the beginning of season 2, because whenever anyone has a breakup, don't they all spin out a little bit? I mean, I certainly do, and I'm sure everyone else has a breakups that they can relate to with what Bette goes through. And that's a wrap for this episode, guys. I mean, good episode. Kind of ties off a lot of the loose ends from season 1. You know, Marina, Robyn, all these people, and Ivan, they tie them up and they whittle the cast down and get back to, you know, our main original leading cast members. You get the introduction of Joyce, and some other people come in the next few episodes, like that creep Mark, who I also mentioned in my surprising facts video, because he has a super famous sibling. Again, I'll link them in the cards. But they've also set up a lot of the storylines for the rest of the season, you know, Bette and Tina and their breakup and building up to their reconciliation, the pregnancy. Obviously soon we're going to get the introduction of Helena, who, when she was introduced, oh my god, did I hate Helena. But by the end of the show, I actually think she was one of my favorite characters. Dana and Alice, Shane and Carmen, they're just setting everything up in this episode and the next episode, really. So looking forward to the next one for sure, especially with some more Joyce Wischnia. As always, guys, make sure to follow me on social media to keep up with me between videos. Make sure to like, subscribe and comment, and you will be entered into the competition to win an L Word shirt. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel and like and comment on this or any of my retro L Word reviews. Up next, I will have the next episode of Gay Netflix, which will go over season 2 of Dead to Me, and that will be followed by the next L Word retro review, season 2, episode 3. And I also am doing a Generation Q season 2 update, things I've heard, what's going on, what we know is going to happen with filming, what we're going to guess is going to go on, what's going to happen with when the show will actually air, and a few little other things I've heard. So those 3 videos will be coming out over the next few days. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure to have a great long weekend, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.